Well, I have to go to work at 11 o'clock. I'm looking forward to that. I enjoy my work. Um, Hoping I can burn the rest of that brush today. It'll just depend what the wind is like and so on. And also, I'll need some fire starting stuff to get it going too if I do burn it. Um, right now, I'm out of cardboard, so and the leaves that I had been using to start fires, they're pretty wet now too. So I don't know if starting a fire is a possibility, even if the wind isn't too bad, even if conditions are suitable. But we'll see. There's always a way around things, you know. If you can't do a thing one way, you do it another way. But it's funny. I was thinking of something. Something came to mind this morning, and I was thinking of it. And it's kind of like I've noticed that people have this thing. I'm trying to get this beam of light here to settle down. Okay, there we go. Well, it's the price we pay for having the sun out, I guess, eh? Still worth it, though. The sun is pretty awesome. But here's the thing. It's funny how we delude ourselves, or at least how people in general delude themselves. And I've noticed especially, and again, I'm probably going to this may not be very well received, but I've noticed this is a common trait with women especially. That they will look at a situation that never occurred, and they'll look at it as how they wish it had been, and they'll say, well, it would have been like this had it happened. Despite all kinds of evidence that it wouldn't have been. You know, sometimes when something doesn't happen, it's just as well. And I'm thinking of a specific example. There was the woman that I got kind of into some sort of a situation with there last year that turned out pretty bad. And I remember watching a video she put out one time on Facebook Live, and what she had said was, no, she isn't the only one that's guilty of this. I've seen this before, and it's oftentimes, I'd say pretty well all the time, it's been a woman that I've seen do this. That's why I say I think it's more common with women to do this. But she put this video out, and one thing she said in it is that she regrets never having had children. Now, I understand that in a way because it's kind of a natural thing for, most women do have that just naturally within them that they would want to have children. It's kind of programmed into the brain, I think, to want to have children. So I do understand that. But what she had said is that if she had had children, she thinks that she would have been different and life would have been different and so on. But I look at that and I say, okay, yeah, probably life would have been different, but would it have been better? To bring another human being into a situation which is dysfunctional, would that have been better? And as a man, again, I look at it and I say, okay, I'm going to be honest about myself, and I'm going to be honest about this specific woman. There's how I wish things could be, and there's how things actually would be. And I can separate the two very easily. And how I wish things would be, of course, would be that, say, if we had met when we were younger or whatever, and we had hooked up and we ended up having a child, I wish that it could be that we'd both be great parents. The child would have a great life, We'd love each other. We'd be, we'd be each other's rock, there to support each other and to love each other, and together to work for to make an awesome life for our child, or our children if we had more than one. That would be ideal. But the reality is, if I had hooked up really with any woman and I had become a father, if that had happened, that child what they would have had for a dad would have been a perpetually frustrated, violent ball of rage. Because that's what I was when I was in my 20s and 30s especially. I was just frustrated right up to the gunnels. I was so frustrated. And I was violent, and I was angry. I was wicked angry. I was mad at the world, and if you effed with me, anything might happen to you. I didn't go after people who didn't go after me first. I wasn't like that, just to be clear. I wasn't like I wasn't like a predator out there wandering the streets, seething with rage, looking for victims. It wasn't that way. But I'll tell you, I subscribe to the philosophy of, if you come at me, you know, with a twig, I'll come back at you with a log. That's how I was. If you think you're going to run me over with your bicycle, I'll run you over with a semi-truck. That's the way I was. And there was some method to my madness because it kept the predators at bay, and there were a lot of predators. Like, I did have some reason to be that way. It wasn't just that I was crazy or whatever. It wasn't that. But still, I was a ball of rage. I was so frustrated. I was so angry. I was a ball of rage. Now, I mean, this specific woman that said about having children or whatever, how things would have been better. Well, if she had had a child, her child would have had a selfish, self-centered, perpetually angry alcoholic for a mother. That's what that child would have had. And I'm sure if she went back and she looked back over her 20s and 30s and she remembers different boyfriends that she had, different men she was intimately involved with, and therefore could have impregnated her, can she honestly say that any of those men would have been a good father? Because the men she was involved with were all thugs, bullies, drug dealers, people like that. Would any of those guys been a good father? Honestly. I know I wouldn't have been. I wouldn't have been a good father. And I really don't think she'd have been a good mother. And the other thing is, a child should not come into the world with a job, especially the job of changing an adult or making a life for an adult, a better life. It's up to the adults to raise the children and to make a life for them. That's our job, not the child's job. It's our job to do that for the child. It's not the child's job to do it for us. Anyway, I see the video size limit has been reached.